Hey scholars, it is video 2 for Unit 1, the 25 most influential works of American protest art since World War II. And the objective is students will be able to identify a piece of social protest art and analyze the effect of its stylistic choices on the audience. So we're talking about protest art because we're going to read a play, A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, which is considered by many to be protest art. I talked to you briefly about one of the pieces of art that is in this article that I'm going to have you look at now in the last video. And so if this was one that interested you, you can choose that as the piece of art that you want to write about for step 2 in lesson 1. And I also have one of the murals from George Floyd Square here. That is one of the most moving pieces of social art that I have ever seen. I don't know if you've seen this in person, but it is a very powerful piece. It's huge, and the paint is running as if they're tears from Floyd's face, and it's a really powerful piece of art. The question I want you to have in your mind as we go through this video is, what social protest art moves you? These are 3 that you're going to see in the PDF, and you may choose one of these. Your job is to find one that moves you from the pieces that are in the article and to write about it. So the article is called The 25 Most Influential Works of American Protest Art Since World War II. This is one of the pieces that you'll see, and each piece of art has a little blurb written about it, and you can read about it. A reminder that social protest art is art that addresses and challenges cultural power structures. And so that's the definition we're going to be working with. This particular article comes from October 15th, 2020. And it was created by 3 artists, a curator. A curator is the person who's like in charge of a museum and decides what's going to go in the museum or not, and a writer. They came together to create this list. Art that has not only best reflected the era, but have made an impact is the kind of works they were looking for this article. Now they chose 25, and the PDF that you're going to be seeing doesn't have all 25 pieces of art in it. I took some out just for the sake of space and time. So remember that social protest art uses stylistic choices to address and challenge cultural power struggles. What are stylistic choices? They are choices that the artist has regarding various things like color, texture, lighting, shading, size, lettering, contrast, all of the different things that you see when you look at a piece of art. In plays and songs, the stylistic choices are a little bit different, but we'll get to that in the 3rd video for this lesson. So in your packet, you're going to be asked to find one work that you think is interesting or that resonates with you. And so you're just going to look through the different pieces that are in there, read a little bit about them. This is one of them that's in the article. Tell me which piece that you chose and why. And then you need to explain how it is a piece of protest art, what makes it challenging to cultural, societal norms. And then you need to describe one aspect of the piece of art that is memorable or powerful to you. And then finally, you need to explain a stylistic choice. So a stylistic choice, something about the lettering, something about the size of the text, something about the colors, something about the medium that is used, the fact that this is on fabric that looks like a a banner that's hanging from an actual wall as if it, is a real flag being flown. Those are the kinds of things you're going to look at for number 4. So I did a sample and I wanted to show it to you. My sample, I took it off of the PDF, but this was one. It's called David Wojnarowicz's Silence Equals Death, and it was made in 1989. And the reason why it is considered protest art is because it's a portrait of an artist named David, and I'm probably butchered his last name. I'm not going to do it again. Where his mouth appears to have literally been sewn shut. It wasn't, thankfully. But it shows how he felt silenced in talking about the AIDS crisis. That's what this piece of art is dealing with. And so describe one aspect of this is the third thing that we have to do, is what's memorable or powerful. And I said, after I read about it, what was memorable was the portrait. The artist was HIV positive, and he died just 3 years later at the age of 37 due to HIV related complications. And so this was during the time when a lot of gay men were dying in the 1980s for HIV, or because of HIV and AIDS, and just not much was being done about it. And so that was what this piece is protesting. The effect of a stylistic choice. Well, here's what I chose. The stitches. This is a stylistic choice. It looks like stitches, at least, on his lips. It's horrific to imagine your mouth being sewn shut. It reminds me of Nazis and the Holocaust. It's so evil. And it's black and white, too, almost making it look like it's old, like it's from the Nazi era or something like that. Okay. So your job now is to pick one image from the article that resonates with you. Each work is described by the author of the article. It's also commented on by artists, so read that. And pick one. Answer the questions in your packet. You can use my answers as a sample, but you're not going to be able to choose the same work. I didn't include it in the PDF article. So which social protest artwork in the New York Times article moves you? Feel free to chat with others about your pick and their pick, and then complete the questions independently. All right, that's all I got for you. Good luck as you work.